Don't move to Charlotte, North Carolina. It's full. I've heard that line again and again, but people keep coming anyway. So let me tell you some hard truths. Worse traffic, rising costs, and how this city isn't the secret it used to be. So let's start with one of the first shocking things about North Carolina, that Carolina heat. Hot and humid summers. Summers here are hot and humid. The humidity is intense. I've lived here for years and I don't think you ever really get used to it. You walk outside and you're just damp. It's 104 and you're dying. And I'm dying, you're dying, we're all dying. Air conditioning tricks you. Everything indoors is blasted with AC. So you forget how hot it is outside until you actually step outside. Everywhere you go, it's chilly inside. You might actually even need a cardigan, but the summer nights are the payoff. Warm evenings are one of my favorite things about North Carolina. You can sit outside late without a jacket. It's not cold, but it's cooler. It's just like you hear the crickets or the cicadas, and I don't know, it gives you that summer nights vibe. Beautiful warm summer nights. It feels perfect compared to those California hot days and freezing cold nights. The mountains give you a break from that summer heat. So Asheville or Tennessee are only a couple hours away. The temperature just drops instantly once you're there, and it's so, so nice. I mean, we literally crossed the border into Tennessee, and it was actually cold, even in the summer. The weather itself creates activities. Hot days push you towards the water, pools, lakes, or rivers. It becomes part of that summer life. It really gives you that good excuse to just get into the water. But people still make it work, and some even end up loving it. How do people handle it? They lean into that water life. The humidity actually makes the pool, lakes, and rivers way more enjoyable. You just don't tolerate it, you start to crave it. Locals stop fighting the humidity. Instead, they adapt their rhythm. Evenings outside, water during the day, and AC as the reset button. Now, let's talk about another surprise for newcomers, the cost of living. It's not cheap. Charlotte isn't as affordable as people think. Trendy spots push the prices up. Newer restaurants and cafes charge like California. You feel it the most in Uptown and in the cool areas. Anything that's been featured lately on TikTok or Instagram, all of a sudden the prices are way more expensive. But the breakfast places can start feeling a little bit like West Coast pricing. Shopping can be a mixed bag. One of my friends just recently visited me in North Carolina from California, and she didn't really notice a big difference in the cost when it came to clothing and trendy shops. A lot of them were very similarly priced. The only thing that would have been a big difference is the taxes. Housing and taxes balance it out. So the big advantage is when you keep lower property taxes and housing. It still makes Charlotte more affordable and easier than New York or California. You're not losing half of your paycheck to taxes. So entertainment is cheaper, but it still depends. Movie tickets are less here, but not enough to change the habit. It's really only a $10 difference. I'd rather just wait and watch the movie on Netflix or Hulu or whatever your on-demand carrier is. Food can feel affordable. So Southern food surprised my friend the most. She said she loved the biscuit. She said she wants to do a biscuit tour of North Carolina because everywhere we went, they were super good. She said every one of them was incredible. But your dollar still stretches further than most big cities if you know where to look. Daily life stretches further. Groceries, casual dining, and housing gives you more breathing room compared to coastal states. Taxes are the hidden advantage. You keep more of your paycheck, which matters more than boutiques or brunch prices. Affordable choices still exist. If you're coming from California or New York, Charlotte is going to feel very affordable overall. If you're from a smaller town, the trendy side may shock you, but you can choose how much of that do you want to incorporate into your lifestyle. The bigger picture, if you want to see how North Carolina stacks up overall, check out my pros and cons of Charlotte, North Carolina video for the full breakdown. Now let's talk about the one thing you definitely can't skip here, which is owning a car. Seriously. Charlotte just isn't built to be car-free. It's not car-free living, and you're going to be driving almost everywhere. Grocery trips, errands, school runs, it'll all add up. Am I going to walk 3 miles with groceries? No, I need a car. Walkable pockets exist, but they are limited. Birkdale has shops and condos above the stores, but you're still going to need to drive there unless you live right on top of it. City living gives you rare exceptions. So my brother does live uptown and he can scoot on his scooter to work and he can walk directly downstairs and be right at a Harris Teeter. But his wife works at a hospital and she drives. He doesn't even own a car right now. His wife actually bought him a scooter and he just scoots around uptown. Public transportation is only partial. There is a light rail from the university area all the way up to South End. It can help for games and concerts, but it's slow and it's crowded. The CATS bus system exists, but it really doesn't cover everywhere. It's a trade-off. Avoid traffic, but plan on an extra hour to get places. And then construction can make driving even tougher. Detours and blocked roads stretch travel time out. You often have to reroute on the fly. But for most people here, having a car just makes life simpler and flexible. Why cars are still worth it? I mean, freedom over schedules. With the car, you're not tied to bus times or train schedules. You just can leave whenever you want. Either way, you're choosing how you want to trade your time for convenience. Now, let's talk about what makes driving harder than the traffic: the congestion. Charlotte traffic surprises a lot of people, especially newcomers. I mean, clients notice it right away. People from rural towns are shocked by Charlotte's traffic. Even clients from Long Island called it outrageous. They made the mistake of going to Huntersville, and I mean, currently it is the construction mecca. They are working on every part of the highway getting into Huntersville. Construction makes it worse. Huntersville is the prime example. Roads that used to be super simple are kind of a nightmare right now. When I was in high school, it was such an easy drive. Now it's kind of chaos. But also, it really does depend on where you're from. If you're from LA or New York, this isn't going to faze you that much. But if you're from smaller towns, it feels like a big city shock. Even the suburban growth adds to the pressure. So the developmental spreads traffic into areas that once felt rural. You'll wait years for it to settle down after the expansion. But still, compared to bigger cities, it's manageable, and growth brings long-term upsides. So with new construction comes better roads, new businesses, and more housing options. And it's not everywhere. So certain suburbs they feel jammed, but plenty of neighborhoods still offer easy driving. It's a little bit of a short-term sacrifice for a long-term payoff. So right now it's messy, but once expansion finishes, those same areas will feel easier and more connected. But there's one more thing people never expect, and it hits hard every spring: pollen season. Spring in Charlotte is beautiful and brutal if you've got allergies. When spring hits, pollen covers everything. Cars turn yellow-green and allergy attacks are common. I had my first allergy attack when I was 20 and I thought I was dying. But here's the thing, everybody reacts differently. So my brother, before we fully moved to North Carolina, actually when he was young, he was constantly taking Claritin and allergy medication, but now he doesn't even take it anymore. While I didn't have any allergies growing up, I developed them in my 20s and they still go strong every spring. I mean, it sucks. For me, it affects my eyes the most. It literally makes me want to pull them out of my head. But it's really unpredictable every year. Some springs are mild, others are vicious, and you just don't know how bad it's going to be until it hits. Mold can also add to it. So in some homes, water or shade can attract mold growth, but it's not everywhere. But sensitive buyers often worry about it a lot. But for most people, it's seasonal, manageable, and not a deal breaker. Most of the year is fine. It's really only mid-spring that's pretty intense. And obviously, medication can help. Strong allergy medication or eye drops take the edge off for most people. That's enough. And weirdly, your body will adjust. So over time, locals find that their allergies lessen or become easier to manage. Or if you go and you take a little bit of local honey, it can really help with your pollen resistance. So even if it's more folklore than science, many find that it works. I mean, I try it just because, why not? So just like heat or traffic, pollen is something you plan around. It's annoying, but not a reason to avoid Charlotte altogether. Not sure if you can handle pollen season here? Take my Southern City quiz. It'll point you to the spots in the South that actually fit you best. Now, let's shift from nature to neighborhoods and the reality of living under an HOA. In Charlotte, most neighborhoods have an HOA. It's just part of the deal. Townhomes and condos almost always do. For the most part, you're gonna be dealing with this HOA. They keep things uniform, make sure that lawns are cut, mold on siding gets cleaned, people aren't parking in the street, neighbors just can't have chickens running around in their yard or in their backyard. And I mean, sometimes the fees are worth it. My brother pays around $600 a month in his uptown condo, and it covers security, concierge, building housekeeping, in the shared lounges and lawn care outside. And then they also hold events. It's a lot of money for a budget to have monthly pool parties or book clubs or game nights. They even have the 24-hour security, and the office, they'll hold your packages so they don't get stolen. So that's kind of nice. So sometimes the rules can be really annoying. I left my car in the street once, and the next day I had a warning about a threat or a threat of a fine, which is, one night, all of a sudden they're like, oh, get your car out of there, whatever. Do it again, you're gonna get fined. It's fine. And neighborhood disputes definitely happen. So this one woman, I talk about her all the time. This one woman keeps feeding squirrels, and now she has raccoons. I'm just like this close to reporting her because honestly, I just don't want my tiny dog to get attacked by a raccoon. I mean, I'm serious. Like if a raccoon attacks my dog, I'm gonna John Wick somebody, but that's neither here nor there. Ladies, stop throwing out peanuts for the squirrels. It's making them crazy too. But depending on where you buy, it can be a huge perk or just a minor hassle. So just read over the HOA CCRs before you decide to move anywhere, and you'll be okay. You'll know how to figure it out. So HOAs are a hassle at times, but they also prevent neighborhoods from looking neglected. And there is a range of fees. They can be as low as $15 a month or as high as $1,000. You just pick the level of amenities and rules you want to follow. Some of the community perks, there's pools, landscaping, security, roads upkeep, often come with a fee, making the neighborhood feel more connected and cohesive. Freedom versus structure. So if you want no rules, you can buy outside of the HOA zones, but you may end up next to a personal junkyard or a farm. Instead of fighting every rule, think of an HOA as protecting your property value long term. Now let's talk about something way bigger than rules. How do people act around here? Culture shift, you're gonna have to talk to people. People here are generally friendly, full on strangers will chat with you friendly. People tend to be friendlier here. Even my introverted friend who came from California ended up having lots of conversations with strangers. She kept turning to me to say, oh my God, everybody's so nice here. So everyday kindness is normal. When we were actually together, there was an older gentleman walking towards the door with his cane, and I jumped up and I opened the door for him, made a little joke that just said, don't speed up. And he actually giggled and said, I'm not going any faster. You're making me laugh. I was slowing him down. But a little bit of kindness can go a long way. Be kind. Do a kind thing today for a stranger if you can, or make somebody smile or say something nice. Small talk is a part of life here. So my friend who came from LA, she tends to avoid strangers as she should. But she really found herself enjoying a lot of the conversations. If you don't want to interact with the people, don't move here. Please stay where you are and just keep whatever you got going on over there, okay? Let's strive for kindness here. There's still a balance though. Of course, rude people exist anywhere, and overwhelmingly, I found that people here value courtesy. So it can feel like a big shift, but most people adjust and many people end up loving it. So why does this culture work? Community feel. The friendliness makes neighborhoods feel safer and more connected, and kindness is contagious. It's not forced, but it's normal. You don't have to be extroverted. You just have to be willing to accept that friendliness is a part of the culture, and it's a part of the culture we want to keep. The big picture is Southern hospitality is one of the biggest adjustments, but also one of the biggest reasons people stay. Here's the thing, Charlotte is full. So let's talk about why Charlotte, North Carolina is full and you should not come here. Charlotte used to be a hidden gem, but not anymore. People keep saying, Charlotte is full, don't come here. And I mean, I've heard it time and time again, but growth hasn't stopped. Families keep moving in every week. New neighborhoods keep breaking ground. And here's the real meaning behind it. Locals don't mean that there is no room. What they mean is if you're coming here to change Charlotte into something else, then yeah, it is full for you. It feels full, but it isn't really, obviously. Traffic, schools, and suburbs are crowded, but the city still has space to grow. It's not full, but it is full, is really the best way to put it. But behind the crowds and the construction, there is real opportunity. Cultural pushback. So, longtime residents fear that Charlotte is losing its identity. Saying it's full is coded for don't come here and reshape it. Why it matters. People aren't just worried about the space, they're worried about the character. They want Charlotte to stay Charlotte. But let's be real, no single video can cover everything about Charlotte, North Carolina, and picking the wrong city in North Carolina, well, that could be a six-figure mistake. And you could end up somewhere you hate, living there for years. So if you're still exploring, go check out my pros and cons of Charlotte, North Carolina video. That's gonna give you the full picture of the state. And if you're stuck between a few cities, take my Southern City quiz. It's gonna point you straight to the best one that matches you best. Well, that's it for now. I'm Inga, your real estate bestie, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.